Do you have something inspiring to say? Have you always known that your voice can contribute to the world? Is now the time? Yes, now is the time. The world is waiting for you. Welcome to the Open Mic Show on Inspired Choices Network. Today, we have an inspiring guest who is ready to share their voice with the world. Now, on to the show.
Hello, and welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are coming to Inspired Choices Network on the Open Mic today. We have Dr. Zahurin, or Dr. Zai, as I call her. She is an amazing lady all the way from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. She says it much better than me, and I will get to her in a second, but we're so glad to have you here today as we discuss weight loss and losing weight after 60. And yes, we can. Actually, I think it should be losing weight after 40 because I have been struggling in that area. But let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Zai for those that are just listening and not watching on the TV show. Dr. Zahurin Mohamed obtained her BSc and PhD in pharmacology from the University of Dundee, right here in Scotland near me. Joined the University of Malaya as an academic staff and stayed for almost 40 years. She then retired from full-time service as Professor of Pharmacology at the University of Malaya 5 years ago and is presently an honorary professor at the same university. Following retirement, Professor Zahurin set up her Shaliscare nursing and services to provide nursing care to patients staying at home and is presently the Executive Director for Hang Seng Healthcare, as well as being a distributor and wellness and weight management consultant for NuSkin. Welcome, Dr. Zai.
Thank you, Haley Sue. Thank you for having me, and hi, everybody. Hi.
It's so wonderful to have you on the Open Mic Show today. And can you just introduce yourself a little bit more to our guests that are listening?
Right. Thank you, Haley Sue. Actually, you said most of who I am briefly, but in addition to all that, I am also a wife, a mom to two. One is 37 and one is 34 years old. And a grandmother to two grandsons, one 5-year-old and one 3 years old. And I also do a lot of, I like to be involved in a lot of charity work that I do in Malaysia, some in my mosques, and some of the work are also in my own community, my own residential area. So in brief.
Wow. Okay, so let's just dive right in and tell me what was it that got you started on this wellness and weight loss management or program or whatever? Was it something for you that you did, or where did it start?
All right, Haley Sue. So actually, I've not been in this wellness and weight management that long, but I have been, as you said, I was in a healthcare business, and but I started this weight and management program or weight management business past 60 years old. So I'm actually 65 years old and my husband 66 years old. But prior to that, I was actually leading quite an active lifestyle for 60-year-olds. I was attending CrossFit training. You know what that is, right? It's a relatively high intensity kind of training. Yeah, I did that. And in order to check my weight, to keep my weight in check, I was also doing intermittent fasting, and I do a lot of walks and treks like that just to be active. But the thing is, I was still a little bit overweight. I was maybe about 68.6 at that time, and I'm only 158 centimeters. So I was slightly overweight, and I actually had health issues. I had high blood pressure, I had high cholesterol, and so on. And therefore, I was thinking that I need to be healthier. Okay, and along came my former student. Okay, he was my former medical student. By that time, he was already practicing as a medical doctor for about 5 years already, and he shared with me about this weight management program. And I thought, wow, okay, I didn't really think about losing weight. I mean, nobody likes to see themselves as being overweight, but he had this machine and it told me that, yeah, I am on the big side. My BMI was much, more than what a healthy person should be. My visceral fat was high. My muscle wasn't very high, and so on and so forth. It's a wonderful machine that convinced me that I really needed to do something, okay? And therefore, I brought in my husband as well. And wow, at the end of that program, it's a 90 days program, both of us lost 10 kilograms, and our health issues were actually resolved. And that was so wonderful. So I didn't really mean this to be a business as such, but I thought it was too good to be true. I thought this is something that needed to be shared, especially of people in, we call ourselves the 6 series people, okay? So I thought, with being in 6 series as such, there will be among my friends, similar kind of issues. And that's when I started the business, Haley Sue.
Oh,
yeah.
That's amazing. And I mean, as you say, when you hit 60, you started to feel all this. Well, I can say when I hit 40, I could feel the change in my body. Like it was more difficult to lose weight. I used to be able to just, not eat for a week and I drop 5 kgs. But after you hit 40, everything seems to slow down. It's a little bit more difficult. Your skin elasticity is not quite the same. Your metabolism is not quite the same. And just putting in anything into your mouth is not always the best idea. And I found now as I approach 45, it's getting harder and harder to just drop weight like that. So I think it's very important that people know and are taking care of themselves from an early stage, not just to wait until you're 60, but that there is hope. From 60, you can still have the body that you love, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Right. I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned visceral fat. Now, can you explain a little bit to us what is the difference between visceral fat and just fat? Because, I mean, I was talking about the middle age spread in this introduction, and I kind of feel like I have more sitting around my middle area.
All of us that can relate to that, Haley Sue. All right. Okay, so visceral fat, but perhaps I can go a step back, about how you said that, you felt as though it was more difficult to lose weight and so on. Actually, the science tells us that that is true. It is not just peculiar to you or to me, okay? We do find it harder to lose weight as we get older because one of the things that happen is that as we get older, we actually start to lose muscles. And you're right, because this loss of muscles, to me, that is the greatest contributor because you start losing muscles actually as early as 30 years old. But of course, we don't feel it. And it keeps going on and on throughout the rest of your lives. Okay. And people lose at every decade, they should lose at about 3 to 8%. So you can imagine that when they reach my age, about 60, that's quite a substantial loss of muscle. So I would say that is the greatest contributor. Now, so what has that got to do with, weight gain? Okay, so now what it is that the loss of muscle mass, it will promote weight gain, okay? Because muscles are actually metabolically active. okay, which means that, they actually dispense a lot more energy. So if we don't do that, we don't burn calories as much as we do. When we were younger. So that is a real great contributor. And just hold that in your memory about muscles and about protein and so on. Maybe I can go on also that, okay, the other contributor for the weight gain are all the changes in our hormones. Okay, so I'm sure you can relate to this because I know Haley Sue has 2 beautiful children. Yeah, I can see that from your Facebook. Right. So the hormonal changes for us in ladies especially. Okay, so there are many transitions that we go to that really make changes to our muscles, to our hormones. All right, we do that, for example, when we have a baby. Okay, of course, a lot of hormonal changes then. And then later on, we have the second baby and the third baby and so on. That makes more changes to our body. And then, of course, there's menopause as well. Okay. And in menopause, what will happen is that, okay, the body, our ovaries stop producing estrogen. Okay. And since you mentioned visceral fat, that is also what happens because, before we were menopause, okay, in the perimenopausal area or even before that, we actually get fat deposited around our hips, around our thighs, and around our buttocks, okay? But, with estrogen, there is sort of a redistribution of fat. And that is when you actually get your middle age spread. Okay, I'm going to stand up and show. Okay, that is where that part really becomes really ugly. And the contributor is actually visceral fat. So what visceral fat is different from all the other fat that's surrounding us. Okay, visceral fat is the one that is actually the fat surrounding our organs, okay? And it is very, very significant because that's the fat that will contribute later on to chronic diseases, to high blood pressure, to high cholesterol, and even diabetes mellitus. So, I was told, by personal trainers and so on, that's the fat that is more difficult to get rid of. So all the others are subcutaneous fat. Those are fat that is, underneath our arms. And even the fat that, when we pinch here, right? Even that is subcutaneous. But deeper inside, that's our visceral fat. And that's the one that we want to get rid of. That's the one that actually make our waist bigger. Okay. And so there's a redistribution of fat to that area. Yeah. I hope I answered the question. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So then how do we lose visceral fat and the subcutaneous fat? I mean, these, I know we just have to go to the bye-bye, right? That wobble.
That wobble. Okay, so again, especially coming back to being 60 years old, all right? Being 60 years old, okay, I want to add another one. The fact that, okay, for 60-year-olds, for example, another factor is the fact that we are not so mobile anymore. Okay, we don't move as much as we were, when we were younger. Okay, and therefore, all of this actually contributes to the fact that, the overall fat. So now your question is how to get rid of the fat. Wow, that is $1 million question. All right, because because as you can see, okay, from 1975 to the data that I saw was until 2016. Okay, the number of overweight and obese people actually tripled, I was told. Okay, it actually tripled. So the number of people that actually put on weight, in terms of being overweight and obese, and there's a slight difference between the two. And when somebody says that, you're overweight, that means your BMI is over 25. All right, up to 25. But if it is beyond that, then it is already obese. Okay, so you actually need a method, okay, in all of this. Now, as I was trying to tell you in the early part, all of us will come to a stage where we keep losing muscle mass, okay, and putting on the fat. So a very healthy weight loss program would have those two working in tandem, okay. We should be able to try and choose a weight management program that would actually lose our fat, both our subcutaneous fat, there's the other fat on the overall body fat, as well as our visceral fat, okay, both subcutaneous and visceral, and that's not easy. So that is why I was really very, very, I was very, very happy that in the program that I was, using, me and my husband, okay, it actually came as a surprise to me, because I will tell you more about the program later, because in that program, we not only lost both kinds of fat, we actually did not lose muscles, and that is very, very important point. Okay, yes. So I will allude to you to how that program works in a minute. But generally, if I did not come across this program and I was trying to plan for a program, that would be what I want. A program that will not lose my muscles, but at the same time lose my fat. Okay, because fat is the one that we don't want to see anymore, but muscles, we want to retain it.
Absolutely. Okay, this is so interesting, but we have to go to our first commercial break. So when we come back, we will dive straight back into this and how you can stop that middle age spread. You're listening to Dr. Zai and Hayley Sue on the open mic on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Whether money, addiction, spirituality, real estate, or relationships, Open Mic on Inspired Choices Network discusses it all, with a focus on bringing conscious voices and topics to the world. ICN features speakers, podcasters, and professionals from around the world. Do you have something inspiring to say? Get on the air today with the Inspired Choices Network Open Mic Show. The Open Mic Show is your time to shine and inspire our global audience. Claim your spot today. Simply contact our network at openmic@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Forget the days of 5 minutes of fame. Now you can have 55 minutes of fame.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
You are listening to the Open Mic Show here on Inspired Choices Network. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody. We are talking to Dr. Zai today about losing weight after 60. Yes, you can. And do you ever just think, oh, well, this is my body, this is how it looks now? There is an explanation for it and a way to help you change your body and your sluggish metabolism and to rebuild those muscles. So don't give up on your body just yet. Join this conversation. I hope if you're listening today that you get some value from it. And if you're listening, not looking, or maybe watching in the future, you will get value from this, because this is something that a lot of us have struggled with, and many people before us have struggled with weight as we start to get older and our bodies start to slow down. So, Dr. Zai, we were talking about visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. So what I wanted to go into was, do you think it's important to have a physical plan of action, like some physical exercise, as well as a meal plan?
Yes. Okay. All right. So again, I want to go back and say that, okay, for a person who's 60 years old, because you can imagine why, I was so excited about this program. Okay. Because when I retired, and in Malaysia, retirement age is actually 60. All right. And when I retired, what I wanted to do was, I want to have good quality of life. I want to be able to do things because I've got grandchildren, I've got children. I want to be able to enjoy them. I want to live well. I want to live healthy. I want to live young, as such. But but I think for most people, the obstacle as such is that, okay, they haven't really reached that healthy weight and healthy shape as such. Okay, now why do I connect that? Because, actually obesity is the cause of a lot of the chronic diseases. I've named some of them and so on. So in my mind, if I can find a weight program, a weight management program in which I am able to live healthy, to live young, that would be quite good. All right. So what I found with this weight management program, as I say, is a 90 days program. All right. And I think I can summarize it in terms of it being able to redefine the body composition to build a healthier, leaner you. Okay. It really did that. Now, because what happened at the beginning of the program is very, very interesting, because what do we do most of the time when we say that I'm going to lose weight? Okay, so you just take a weighing machine and then you just, go on there and, sometimes do not want to look at it at all. But, you need to look because, you want to achieve a certain goal. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to measure yourself. And then, it just becomes a number, on the weighing machine. But what I like about this program is that you are monitoring the whole body composition. Okay, those things that I mentioned to you, because we have this device and it's really quite good. We have this device that measures not just our body weight. It actually also measures our body fat percentage, meaning that, if I've managed to get around to 60 and below, so out of that 60 kilograms, how many percentage of that is body fat? It can do that. It's got this, it's called a bioimpedance technology. Okay, you just stand on top of it and it will actually scan you. You have to wait for it for just about a minute and it will scan you. And then it will also, it also has a measurement of the visceral fat. Okay, so before, measurement of visceral fat wasn't that easy. You need to do an MRI. You know what an MRI costs, in a hospital. But no, this one actually estimates your visceral fat as well as muscles. Okay, so it can tell you, what percentage of your body weight is muscles. And it's also able to tell you your body age. And would you believe it? At that time when I was 64, I'm now 65 actually. So my body age, the machine told me that I'm 72 years old in terms of biological age. I thought, what? I need to be more healthy than a 72-year-old, So this machine is telling me something. So what we do is that, every week, all right? Because we started on a Monday, every Monday, then it will be measurement day, and we measure all of this. Okay, so coming back to this, what this really is, because we could see both my husband and me. I keep mentioning my husband because he was doing it together with me. And to me, as a scientist, as you know, and I've got a scientist background, that actually tells me that, it works for me, my gender, and it works for a man at this, in the same way. And the data to me was very, very interesting. And we were measuring this, the decrease in body weight, the decrease in visceral fat week by week, and no decrease in muscles. If anything, for both of us, the muscle mass actually goes up. Okay, which is wow, it is beyond the imagination of a scientist like me who studies physiology of body. And as I was trying to tell you, that, the natural processes of the physiology of the body is that we would lose muscle mass. And here I was increasing my muscle mass. So that was something. So basically, this program is a weight management as well as a body shaping system. Okay. Wow. When I say body shaping, and it really is body shaping, because I don't know why I'm revealing this, but I'm so excited about this even now, even though I finished it ages ago. But I managed, Haley Sue, to lose around my waist 13 centimeters during that 90 days. Would you believe it? I actually got a waist. I actually had a waist, and I have not had a waist since my 2 children, and they are over 30s, and I thought, wow, something good is happening here, wow. And I actually lost not just my waist here, I actually lost around my abdomen. My pants were getting very, very loose, and, I actually needed to buy new pants and so on. So it does all that. And actually, the whole system is very, very scientific. It is actually based on gene expression science. Okay, so the TR90, the program is called TR90, which is transformation in 90 days. Okay, so it's just a 3-month program. Okay, so it addresses key factors related to weight management. For example, it promotes lean muscle. Okay, and then it also has effect on appetite control, okay? Because, when you actually go on a weight management system, you actually need to tell your brain that. You know what I mean, okay? The brain is actually an important part of whether your weight management system, actually is successful or not. Okay, so your mindset and what this weight management program does is that it has that effect, okay? It can control your cravings, your appetites, and it can actually put you in a mindset such that, you're able to do that successfully. I mean, to me, it's really, so that's very important, don't you think so? Yeah.
If you're not ready to take control of your body, it's the same as giving up smoking, right?
Right.
If mindset is not right, it's not. You're not going to be able to continue with the program, and you won't really be in it. And you'll be like, I won't do it today. I may do it tomorrow. Something like this. And exactly. I know, having just immigrated this year, I've been under a lot of stress, and I haven't wanted to focus on my body. I know I've been putting a whole lot of rubbish into her, but our schedules have been out. Our routines have been nowhere. I mean, because we haven't had a place to live. So I understand there are outside factors. But once you make the decision to actually do something, which I did just 10 days ago.
Wow, congratulations for that decision.
Yes. But, and I was ready to go. And then they said to me, well, you can start. So I decided, I think it was a Wednesday, and they said, you can start on the Monday or you can start in October. And I was like, no, I've got to go now, because I know if I wait till October, my mind will be away again, and I won't want to focus on me and my body. So I think that's a very key thing is your mindset. You have to be in a place of wanting that change and wanting to feel I just wanted to feel better in my body, because everybody says to me, but you don't need to lose weight. And I say, I have a few kgs, yes, but I want to feel stronger. I want to feel healthier. I want to wake up in the morning and go, yes, as you say, and be able to get up and go and not have this feeling of, oh no, another day I have to wake up.
Yeah, I can identify with you, Haley Sue, because, you'll find, and I hope, you'll have a success in your weight management program that you're following now, okay? Because that's, I think, what you said. Now, it is true, because the loss, especially of the body fat, really does something to your energy level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very much so. And I think that comes also with your mindset. Okay, because, as I was doing the program, I thought, okay, I have committed myself to this. And it's true what you said, exactly true. Because, when Dr. Tan, my consultant says, okay, Prof, because he still calls me a professor since, I was his professor. So he says, when are you going to start? And I had that, next month, and he says, no, start now. And when I ask my husband, okay, are you ready? And he says, wow, that looks like you need to do so many changes to our lifestyle and all that. And I thought, it's now or never. Okay, if you're going to, start and it's 64, when are we going to start at 74? When our health already deteriorates and all that. And yes, as we lost that 9.9 kg of weight, okay, and I'd like to say most of it is actually in the form of body fat, and I know that because my machine tells me so. And wow, the energy level, that I experienced, because prior to that I was actually doing a lot of treadmill. I was on the treadmill, okay, and this prior to TR90, I was going to the gym, I was going on the treadmill. And I was always aiming for at least 6 kilometers in an hour. All right. And, if like there's 10 more minutes, I would just make sure that I achieve my goal. But then when I started this, it wasn't even at the end of it. I was actually maybe about 6 weeks into the program. And I said to my husband, come, look at this. I don't really use the treadmill. I use the cross trainer, which one I mean, Helisu. Okay. And I said, come and look. I'm on to 8 kilometers and it's not an hour yet, because, I really, my energy level was so fantastic. That for a 64-year-old, so really that is something that I really appreciate. But anyway, I didn't really answer your question as such. Is it time for a break? Because maybe I can continue that.
We've got so much energy and stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, time just flies when we're having so much fun on this program. So let's go to the second commercial break, and when we come back, what we will dive into is what Dr. Zai can do for you, how she can help you, what she does, and yes. I'm Haley Sue, and you're listening to Open Mic on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Whether money, addiction, spirituality, real estate, or relationships, Open Mic on Inspired Choices Network discusses it all, with a focus on bringing conscious voices and topics to the world. ICN features speakers, podcasters, and professionals from around the world. Do you have something inspiring to say? Get on the air today with the Inspired Choices Network Open Mic Show. The Open Mic Show is your time to shine and inspire our global audience. Claim your spot today. Simply contact our network at openmic@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Forget the days of 5 minutes of fame. Now you can have 55 minutes of fame.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
You are listening to the Open Mic Show here on Inspired Choices Network. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now, back to the show.
Hello and welcome back. We're talking to Dr. Zai about weight loss at the age or over the age of 60, but actually just over the age of 40, I think. Let's just include the conversation. So before we jump right back in, first of all, I wanted to say, if you would like to be on the open mic and you have something to say or a message to bring to this world, we would love to have you on this show. So email me, Hayley, at inspiredchoices.com, or just go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, and I'm sure you can find a way there to communicate with us, and let's get you your 55 minutes of fame, of voicing what you have to say, because there are so many people that have amazing voices, that have amazing messages to bring to this world. And having said that, Dr. Zai, can you tell our listeners and our viewers where they can contact you and what it is you are offering them today, as in how can you help them on this weight management program?
All right. Okay. So you can email me. Okay. My spelling, my pronunciation, you might not be able to catch it, but I'm at zahurinlatif@gmail.com. And I have a Facebook, and it's called simply Zahurin Mohamed. Okay, so maybe somebody can actually type that on the chat box as well. Okay, so these are the two places.
Actually, people can find you if they go to the open mic.
Okay, that's right.
Your details will be there. So right. Yes,
yeah.
If you
okay.
Later, that's how they'll find you.
Right. So before we go to what I can offer, actually, we have not actually finished talking about the weight management program, because I think it's important that they understand what this is all about, because the offer is in the form of actually advisory service. Okay, because I remember before the break, I did not really answer your question, Hayley Sue, and you were asking what sort of eating plan is involved. And I think you also alluded to what kind of exercises or active lifestyle that you need to go to. So maybe I can cover that before we go on. Yeah. So in this eating plan, it actually involves a very powerful and yet simple eating plan. Okay. Now, so that sounds really mysterious. Okay. And together with a more active lifestyle, so it can actually transform a person. Okay. In our case, we will love, transform sounds very, very dramatic. But I feel that, it did exactly that, because, when, as I told you, when our health issues especially got better, when my husband wasn't able to play golf for 1.5 years before that because of knee problem, and being lighter as such, he was able to do that. I mean, that's transforming, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. So, because, golf has been his passion. I mean, I would like to bring him in because, again, I want to also say that, it affected me, it impacted on him. And in fact, it impacted on all our family members. I've only got 2 children. They went on this. And my son-in-law and daughter-in-law also went into this. And it's also very interesting that it does not just have an impact on weight as such, because for both my daughter and my daughter-in-law, they were not that big actually. Okay, but what it does is that it actually managed to overhaul the body. Okay, for them, okay, when I asked them, I thought, okay, how many kilograms did you lose? Which I should not really ask, because I was telling you that it's not the number on this, on the weighing scale. But for them, it is actually regulating their menstrual flow. You know, they actually became less moody when it comes to, you know, menses time and so on. So it also has those kind of effect. So that is why I said that it actually overhauls the whole body system. Okay, let me go back to the eating plan as such. Okay, now the key word when we talk about the eating plan of this TR90 is actually proteins. Okay, because in this particular case, what you want to do, and I think earlier on we already said about muscles not losing muscles, because then it will actually make you put on weight or make losing weight more difficult for you. So you actually don't want to lose muscle. So you need to have that protein-rich diet. Okay, so, and it does not, maybe, people would say, wow, protein-rich diet sounds to be like, an expensive thing. No, it's not really. Okay, proteins can be in the form of eggs. In the Asian context, proteins can be in the form of soya bean curd. It can be in the form of a soya bean drink. Okay, it can actually be lentils. It can be peas. Okay, but of course the meat ones, okay, is chicken and fish and whatever. But as I said, it does not need to do that. And in this program, it is actually very general. We do not have, a system in which we need them to prepare a certain recipe. No, they can be eating whatever that they normally eat. Okay, just that they would need to cut down a little bit on their carbohydrate. Okay, and then have more proteins. The other one is, of course, fats. Okay, remembering, of course, that the whole objective of the exercise is to lose the fat. So we need to not eat too much carbohydrate or fat, and boost up our protein. Okay, because if you remember, going back to muscles, the nutrients that is going to build the muscles is going to be proteins. Okay, it's not carbohydrates, certainly not fat. Okay, so you want to have that in your diet. All right, and having that, and not just the amount. So, and in this program, it sounds really funny, because when they say, okay, does that mean that you need to miss one of the meals? And I tell them, no, you actually need to have 3 meals a day. And they say, what? You have to have 3 meals a day? Because
I think most of us starve ourselves,
exactly.
And we don't even realize that we're doing it. I'm normally a very bad eater, where I wake up, have my green tea, and then I'll have my coffee, and then I won't eat until maybe 11 or 12 o'clock. And so now being on this eating plan where I have to eat 3 meals a day, and yes, it's a high protein diet.
Okay, so that's similar, yeah.
But I find it's a lot of food for me to eat. But I'm glad you also mentioned the vegetable and the vegetarian side of it, because most people think our protein diet is just meats. And so if they're vegetarian or vegan, they can't do a high protein meal plan. Right?
No, that's not true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. And that's not true. Yeah. So I'm glad that you touched on that, and I just wanted to bring that to the attention of our listeners, that even if you are vegetarian or vegan, a high protein,
can still go this. Yeah,
you can still do it.
Right. Now, okay, so in this particular program, all right, because like your program, it's got your breakfast, there is lunch, and there is dinner. It's just that for one of them, lunch and dinner, there is a replacement meal, okay? And the replacement meal actually involves protein shakes, okay? And since you since you mentioned that there has been before, a green shake, which is soybean based. Whereas in this particular one, it's whey based, is the proteins from dairy products, because they found that in terms of building the proteins from whey is actually the best. Okay, so it actually involves this, and 3 times in a day. And the one we call it is trim shake. It's a protein shake. Now, when you take that protein shake, you can also have it together with a plate of salad. That's not a problem. It's just that you need to cut totally for this replacement meal any sort of carbohydrate. All right, so that's the detail of it. But what I'm trying to tell you that in this whole program, okay, what you want to do is you are trying to help yourself learn how to eat a healthy, balanced meal. Okay, and what I liked about it is that, as I said, it's very simple. Okay, and when you were saying that, okay, what are you offering? Because what my consultant offered me is the advisory service, which I find is a kind of a buddy system, okay, in which, he will actually, in inverted commas, scrutinize my food as such, okay? So he will tell me in the morning, for breakfast, and says, okay, Prof Zai, get a photo of what you're eating for breakfast today. And then I'll do that, okay? Get a photo of what you're eating for dinner today, and then he'll do that. And then he will make suggestions to improve, to keep improving. Okay, so of course, in the beginning, it wasn't, he didn't want to mess up. He just wanted to see what kind of food I eat, because he wants to make it, the idea is to make it as normal as possible, but with remembering that, okay, boost your proteins together with it. All right, so for example, okay, my everyday food, my normal, typical food for me, for my breakfast, I will have 2 half-boiled eggs. Okay, and then I will make some overnight oats. Okay, maybe I will make it for a few days. All right, so that for one day I can have it with dried figs or dried or any dried fruits, raisins, and all that. And on another day, I will also have overnight proteins, but with fresh fruits and so on. So there's some variety, there's some excitement and so on. But my 2 eggs are always there. My half-boiled eggs are always there to provide me with the proteins. And then, normally I would take my protein shake at night. All right, because at night, and it is very, very filling, because the protein shakes also has, a unit of protein as well as carbohydrates. So that is really quite filling. And when you have it at night, like you, Haley Sue, you were saying that, sometimes you have problems trying to finish the whole stuff. It is more than enough. And I got rid of all the snacking habits that I used to have, because, I found that when you snack, you are not really hungry. You are actually just wanting something to munch, at night. And same, so now and then, of course, I will have a piece of cake. But before, maybe I would have 2 carrot cake, because that's my favorite carrot cake. All right. But then I kept telling myself, I don't need that second bit of carrot cake. My first one was more than enough. The second one, to me, was just being greedy, because, it happened to be there. But what I'm trying to say is that I started to become more mindful of what I want to eat. Do I want this to stay with me, or do I want to be healthy? Do I want to actually have such that, my blood pressure is normalized and things like that? Or now, do I want to go back to the old days? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be dependent on drugs. I want to be healthy. I want to be energetic. So you have this in mind. And the beauty of it is that it's a meal plan that can stay with me for the rest of my life. Okay. And when the rest of the family, as I said, slowly they got converted and went into this program. And then now, even though sometimes we do have, as you know, now with the COVID pandemic and so on, we don't eat out as often as we like, but we actually bring things in, we get things delivered to us. We then make a point, okay, which of the restaurants would have healthy meals for us. So we already know now, and the whole family knows, all right, where should we go? And then, which menu shall we choose? Because I know that in that particular restaurant, it will not have, the high protein meal that we need for that. So that is, being mindful and being conscious. And like you rightly say, Haley, so in the beginning, you do not need to wait for people to be 60, then only think about losing weight. Because my children's friends have started to do that. And she's very good, because I hear her talking also to her friends to say that, wow, do you want to get where your mom or your dad is, who are on medications and got all these chronic problems? If you don't, then start this lifestyle now. Start to lose your visceral fat now, in order not to get there. And so that is the whole idea. Now, the other component is
just jump in and say something there, Dr. Zai.
Sure.
that is so important to me, to have a healthier lifestyle. I will always remember my mother, and unfortunately she did pass away 7 years ago. But we were in Russia. We went on holiday to Russia. And we were walking. And my mom had always struggled with her weight, up and down, up and down. And she was an artist, and she wanted to go to this specific museum and art gallery. And we walked and we walked and we walked, and it was summer in Russia, and it was so hot. And she eventually could not walk anymore. And and that forever has stayed with me, that I don't want that. And that's what I try to show other people, that, once you are retired at the age of 60, you want to enjoy your life. You don't want to
exactly
sit in a chair all day long, so it's important now to take control of your body and your mind, your weight and your eating plan and your exercise that you have to do. So Dr. Zai, we are almost out of time. Our show is coming to an end.
Okay.
What would you like to wrap up with? What would you like to share?
All right. Yeah, so in the end, what I would like to share is, what we have been saying, in that the reason why I actually are sharing this with friends, because I want them to have this happiness, because people always say that if you're healthier, you're happier. And I thought, that sounds like such a cliche, but like you say, because being healthier means that you're now able to run after your grandchild. If you're happier, you're now able to, even your mind, even your mental capacity, because when you're energetic and so on, by losing all those fat, you start to actually be able to think more. And the last thing that I want is, you hear of people having dementia and all that. I mean, okay, I haven't read about it, but I thought that if I am physically active and I'm mentally active, then, I will be able to actually enjoy good quality of life. And that's what I want to do, is good quality of life. Thank you, Haley Sue. Yeah.
So, Dr. Zai, and if any of you would like that good quality of life and want to find out more, please look up Dr. Zai on our open mic segment in inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. And if you are looking to bring your voice into this world, as I say, you're welcome to email me to get onto the open mic, or if you are looking to have your own show on the Inspired Choices Network, we would be so happy to have you here. Dr. Zai, it's been an absolute pleasure to interview you today. You've given me some more inspiration to get moving, to get active, to get that visceral and subcutaneous fat away. And
thank you for having me, Haley Sue. I've enjoyed every minute of it. You are so bubbly and so responsive. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure. And yes, you are a wealth of information and knowledge. I'm sure we could have spoken for at least 2 hours, I'm sure. So perhaps we will look in the future at getting you back on the show and diving even deeper into how we can live a healthier lifestyle as we start to age. So thank you again, everybody, for listening. We hope you've enjoyed today, and please join us again next Monday on Open Mic at the same time. We will be back talking with Kristen Miller. I'm very excited about that, so stay tuned. Have a lovely Monday.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Open Mic Show today. We look forward to having you join us next time, where we will have another inspiring guest sharing what they know with the Inspired Choices Network world. We look forward to having you join us again. Until then, remember, your voice is a gift and your message inspiring.